Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Um, I wanted to talk about suicidal ideation. In toxic jobs, I saw a post by the Caged Bird HR. Um, if you're on Instagram, please follow their page. They are amazing. They provide HR consultation to people looking to get out of toxic jobs, but we know that HR is not our friend. HR works on behalf of the company to protect the company's interests. So if you need an HR consultant that is on your side, check out their page, Cagebird HR. And the leader of that organization, she talked about experiencing suicidal ideation at her job. And that is something I also experienced. And it's something I have been really hesitant to talk about, especially on a platform like YouTube. But the reason I felt called to share this is because I saw the strength of her sharing her story. And I'm like, you know what? I need to share my story too. So here I am. And this, I also want to put a trigger warning with this video. If you are someone who is sensitive to hearing about the issues of harm, self-harm, please watch one of my other videos. But this one may be a little too much for you, and that's okay. Click off. But yes, when was this? I feel like all the years are running together at this point, but it was early 2022, I believe. Yeah, not this January, but last January. I was experiencing suicidal ideation at my job because I felt so trapped. I did not see a way out. It was a position that I didn't feel worthy of having, so that already started off on a bad foot. When you don't feel worthy of being in a position at an organization, working for someone, you feel that you're coming in, they're doing you a favor, you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage because you're willing to accept things that you normally would not. Because you feel so lucky and privileged to even be there, to even be in someone's presence, that you'll put up with stuff that really goes against your values. And that is what I experienced. I was working long hours. I worked from home, so I would be on my computer until like 9 at night. And I want to bring in another aspect to this. I was working in a DEI role. And I have touched on this a little bit in other interviews, but well, I only did one interview with Dr. Kamani, which I'll link below if you haven't watched her channel and you're looking to develop an exit strategy to leave your toxic job. I highly recommend her channel. But being in a DEI role, feeling the responsibility that I now know is not mine, but at the time I didn't know that. Feeling the responsibility of me being a Black woman, a young Black woman, I'm in my 20s still, in a DEI role, being an assistant vice president at a major bank. I had so much pressure on me. Oh, hold on, I gotta add something else in there. First generation college student. I had all of this pressure, and a lot of it, I want to say that I put it on myself. I try to steer away from that because really I've internalized all these messages that society has been giving me my entire life. To the point where I began to believe it, that it was my responsibility to lead these efforts to teach people what was happening, even though now coming to the awareness and really being honest with myself, people already know what's happening. And they actively work to keep things the same because it maintains their power. But I was working to educate. I was working to drive these initiatives forward because I saw the issues that existed. In me working in economic development, I was working on strategies to help close the racial wealth gap, which we know is huge in the US, right? We know it's a huge issue. And I felt so much pressure to keep going. And I was running into so many obstacles. And on top of that, I wasn't being adequately paid for doing two roles. And plus dealing with, inflation, dealing with job loss in close proximity to me, and me feeling like I had to carry all of this on myself. Plus, on top of that, y'all, I moved to a new city. I moved to a new city. I moved to Charlotte, which we know has a severe affordable housing crisis. I'm sure if you are in the Charlotte area, you know what I'm talking about. Paying almost 17, 18, $1,900 a month in rent. It was a lot. I was under a lot of pressure and I didn't see a way out. I didn't see a way out. I would go to meetings. I would log on and have to put myself on mute because I was bawling in the background. Because it was too much. It was too much. And through a process of me slowly opening up to people I love, to my therapist, I was able to see and realize and finally let it sink in that living this way was not sustainable. My health was being impacted. My relationships were being impacted. Everything in my life. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this. When you are in a toxic or abusive relationship, everything around you suffers. Nothing is left untouched. So I was dealing with that, didn't see a way out. Those feelings started to creep up. Well, if there's no way out and this is the only thing I can do, because I really believe that this is the only job I can ever have. It was that deep. I was clinging so tightly to that. We got to add in another aspect, y'all. Just remember the pandemic. Seeing a lot of people around me lose their jobs very quickly. And me feeling so lucky to still have a job, I felt I had to cling on to it. I was gripping it. I was gripping it so tightly. I almost lost myself in the process. I did. And I just wanted to say that I had those feelings. I had those feelings. And it was right around the time when Chesley Christ passed away by suicide. And at the time I was like, I hate to say it, but I'm like, okay, this is going to be me too. This is going to be me too. Because I really felt as if maybe if I took this step, people would have recognized what I'm going through. Now in hindsight, I realize they wouldn't have. And I wouldn't have been able to live. I wouldn't have been able to keep experiencing life. Y'all, I'm in Mexico right now. As someone who never thought that international travel was possible for them, I'm in Mexico. And so I wanted to make this video to tell you that no job is worth your life. And I'm so glad that more of us are bravely sharing our stories about working in jobs that really make us get to that point of saying we don't want to be here. We don't want to live anymore. And know that if you're at this point, that job is not worth your life. And you have so much life to live. And believe me when I tell you, so many great things are coming your way. I didn't believe it for myself. And here I am a year and a half later. Yeah, I'm in Mexico. I'm in Mexico. I have an online business. Um, I'm building friendships and relationships with people that I value so deeply, who inspire me. And I never thought any of this was possible for me. I thought I was stuck. I thought I was trapped there for my entire life. And that's not true. But many times when we're in these jobs, it can feel all consuming. It can feel like there is no way out, that you just have to stay there and suffer. And I'm telling you, you do not have to stay there and suffer. You deserve to live, and you have so much life ahead of you. And if you are experiencing these feelings, I'm going to put the lifeline in the description. Um, but know that you have so much to look forward to, even if you can't see it right now. That's because you're in the thick of it. If you can, take a break. Take a break from your job. And this might look like taking a vacation. This might look like taking a leave of absence. So if that is FMLA, Federal Medical Leave Act, I believe, which is unpaid, but it is a way to take an extended period of leave from your job and still retain your job if you still need that in the back of your mind while you're working on getting out of it. Um, take a leave of absence if you have to. Quit. If it's between the job and your life, quit. Y'all, I had to pull money out of my 401k. And if you know anything about my background, I work in finance. Believe me when I when I tell you I didn't want to do that. I was so resistant to doing that, but you know what? I don't regret that decision for a minute. I had to pull money out of my 401k. I had to take the early withdrawal penalty, but I had the money to help me escape with my life. And I'm here. I'm in Mexico. So I just wanted to give you all that message. No job is worth your life. Yeah. And thank you for watching.